Welcome to Macabre Matters, where all matters of macabre are discussed. From hauntings to legends, plagues to disasters, we have it all right here. Welcome to our second season, United States of Morbidity, where we will visit a new state and its dark history every month. Welcome to our winter special, The Darkest Light. During The Darkest Light, we will each cover a different story, one dark and one light. If you attended last year's special, you heard me cover the light side and read for you The Legend of Papa Noel. We have switched places this year, and I am to bring 2023 to a close with a dark tale. Izzy will then follow me and bring us into 2024 with a light tale to bring some positivity to the new year. So relax, grab your coffee or warm beverage or wine, and let's begin. Lucinata, or the Long Night, is a Scandinavian tradition celebrated on December 13th, also known as St. Lucia's feast day for Catholics. St. Lucia was a Sicilian girl who was a martyr known for bringing food to the Christians during the Roman persecution. In order to carry all the food, she struck candles to her head to light her way in the catacombs. She was caught helping the Christians and was executed on December 13th, but not before the Roman soldiers gouged out her eyes that shone brightly. The name Lucia derives from the Latin word for light, lux, and is also where Lucinata comes from. Why December 13th do the Swedes and some Americans celebrate Lucinata? Lucinata, which means longest night, was meant to be held on the winter solstice, which, according to the old calendar, fell on December 13th. Once we switched to our current calendar, it switched to December 20th to 21st. But by then, Lucinata had become a complete tradition and stayed on December 13th. The tradition includes one girl from the group, usually it's done with schools or something, who puts a wreath like this on her head filled with candles to symbolize Lucia carrying the food to the Christians. Obviously, I didn't do that because I was kind of scared I was going to burn my head. In Scandinavia, especially Sweden, they have their own take on St. Lucia, her dark altar self, who also appears the same day, called Lussi. Lussi was a demon or a witch, depending on the variation that you hear. Her job was to come during the night, along with her horde of follower demons, to whisk away children who were being bad, as well as make sure all the housework was done before the winter solstice. People who follow Lucinata Day enjoy leaving out a type of special cake for Lussi called the Lussikata. The fairies and elves that follow Lussi, we actually know from a different myth. They are called the Ospareia, also known as the Wild Hunt of Yule, which follows Odin. So it is a blend of both Swedish folklore as well as Norse folklore to create Lucinata. Lucinata is known as the most dangerous night of the year to be outside. People who follow this light candles around to keep the light around them, and it is expected to stay up for the entire night to make sure Lussi doesn't enter your home and trash it or steal your children for misbehaving. Because of this custom, it is common in Sweden to hold all-night parties on December 13th into the morning. Another tradition from this time is that if a girl, especially the girl playing Lucy, hears the wild hunt behind her, she takes one of the Lussikaters and will toss it over her shoulder to appease the elves. Now, you probably remember when I first started this story, I said that Lucia, the one who inspired Lucinata, was of Sicilian origin. Technically, she's from Syracuse. So why is this saint from Sicily now the patron saint of Sweden and has this holiday celebrated for her across the globe? It all goes back to the light. Before Christianity made its way to Northern Europe, they had the belief in Lucy already, and it was already seen as the most dangerous night. When the story of Saint Lucia, who is the patron saint of the blind of Syracuse and now Sweden, and they heard of her strapping the candles to light the way in the darkness, she fit in perfectly with their theme for Lucinata. To this day, if you go to Sweden on December 13th, millions of churches are going to be celebrating St. Lucy's Day. It will have the wreath on one of the girls chosen with the candles. They will sing traditional songs. I'm not going to sing them today. They are in Swedish. I am not going to insult the Swedes by my inability to speak their language. It's not one of the languages I know. I'm very sorry. And then they go home that night and they have their Lucinata party and stay up all night to make sure her evil counterpart does not come and try to whisk them away. Anyway, so that is a really quick rundown of Lucinata, or Lucy Night. You both honor her by giving her the cake, but you also fear her because she can kidnap and beat up your kids or destroy your house if you haven't prepared and cleaned your house in time for the winter solstice.
Okay, so I'll do some cleaning this week then.
Yeah. I mean, we are recording this closer to Yule than we are to Lucinata. It already passed. Probably should have warned you about it ahead of time, but hey.
Well, it's fine. My house is still a mess. It's fine.
For the viewers who probably, because I know you know way too much about the Wild Hunt, so we will talk about what the Wild Hunt itself is. Yes. So, Wild Hunt is held by Odin, and it's the night where it's actually 12 nights long, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why we have 12 days of Christmas, 12 days of Yule.
Yep.
And it's the night where all of the creatures are free to roam the Midgard. Is that what we're on?
Yep.
They're allowed to roam Midgard, and they can be helpful or they can cause a lot of issues. Really depends on how they're feeling.
Yeah, and if you're the type that'll just leave out food, like for the Fae or whatever, that will help them as well, I'm sure. So that will keep them from destroying your property or home.
Yeah, that's why you make the Lussikot. I already said it, Lussikotten.
The cakes.
Yeah, the little cakes. Lussikotten. It's a special cake for Lussie specifically. And you leave those out. Or, throw them over your shoulder if you think the Wild Hunt is chasing you. Thought that was interesting.
Alright, so if you just see the random person driving and you see them like throw out a piece of sweets or something, just know that they're probably thinking that something is behind them.
Yeah, if they follow Lucinata or Yule or Odin.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were both raised Catholic and neither of us are Catholic anymore. We're now pagans. Is there anything I covered that non-Catholics will probably want to know?
I feel like they probably want to know more about Lucinata. So
how Lucinata is her opposite?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. They are both these female demons. I was able to find they are both female characters. Mm-hmm. And they both have a connection to light, as their focus. Lussi is described as either a witch or a demon, depending on which version you look at.
Okay.
And in some variations, either she joins in the hunt or she leads the hunt.
Okay.
So no matter what, she is seen as a member of the Wild Hunt. And it's either she joins Odin's Wild Hunt or she's leading her own variation of it with her own demons that follow her.
That's a fun one.
Yeah, I think it was. This is not fact. Obviously, this part is just me conjecturing. But I think the Norse myth of Odin and the Wild Hunt kind of bled a little bit over into Sweden, and they kind of just put their own figures into it.
Makes
and
sense.
A lot of my research, because I had a lot of different topics I was interested in for the dark side, a lot of them have the embodiment of winter being a woman as their main one. It is common in a lot of cultures, even East Asian cultures, that the embodiment of winter is of a female.
Nice.
Either a female witch, a female spirit, or a female demon.
Okay, makes sense for my story as well.
Yeah, and it's because the idea of the fact that winter is very beautiful. The way the snow looks, everything looks, you can say genuinely that's a very beautiful time of year to look at, but it's also deadly. So
Yes.
it's a female embodiment because of essentially an early version of femme fatale before we had a term for a femme fatale.
Okay.
Other versions of Lussi also have her as a Nordic sorceress, similar to Perkta, who, if you are a longtime listener, last year when Jack was still a part of the podcast, he covered Perkta. She would gouge up, she would disembowel you.
Ooh.
If you didn't get all your cleaning done in time. So you can really see the parallel. Oh, hello, Jordy. Please don't put your tail in the fire. Get off my lap. Get off my lap. I don't trust you. Get off my lap. Okay, lay down. Yeah, lay down. Lay down. Sure, why not? Lay down. Please get away from the fire.
I'm like, look, we'd rather not run to the vet due to burns.
Yeah, I don't really want to be the one bringing the cat there for that. But from one of my sources, this is a source written by pagans, it says, if you happen to see Lussi and her elven group, beware. Any human who encounters the Wild Hunt might be abducted to the underworld. And people's spirits can be pulled away during their sleep to join the hunt, which is another reason why you're not supposed to sleep.
Ah.
So, maybe it's good that we don't don't follow the Swedish one and we're non-Sweden, or we would have to stay up all night.
Yeah, I'm very glad. Yeah, that's one nationality I do not have in my blood, so that's good.
Same. We are spared from Lussi, I think.
Yeah, I just got Scandinavian, but thankfully no Swedish specifically.
Yeah. Oh, and the title for the party is a Lussi Vaka.
Okay.
Yes, I forgot to say that.
I
So
wonder
you literally just
if-
party till the break of dawn. I'm sorry, I struggled with a lot of the terms for this one because they're in a different language.
You're totally fine. I would too. I'm curious, what are the signs of, like, Lussi Nocta and her Wild Hunt following
That
you?
is a very good question. Please
Like, all of a
give me a
sudden, would you
moment
see,
to
like-
find it.
The candles.
Oh, she doesn't have the candles. That's only Lucia, but it is she is the opposite of her, and you could do the candle, and lighting the candles like I have here and here helps keep her away. Wild Hunt typically involves a chase led by a mythological figure escorted by ghostly or supernatural group of hunters in pursuit. Various ones can lead it, depending on like what religion you follow. So
Okay.
even if you're a Christian, the wild hunt can come for you because the devil can lead it.
Ah.
And the souls of the dead, ghostly dogs, fairies, valkyries, and elves are the ones who accompany them. If you see the wild hunt, it is to forebode a catastrophe such as war or plague, or your oncoming death.
Okay.
So it's a premonition if you see it, but they don't take you. If they take you, you're either going to the underworld or to the Fae. And if you are sleeping during it when it passes, they can steal your soul from your sleeping body and you just never wake up. So this is specifically for the Scandinavian one. There's a variation for Germany, Scandinavia, and Britain. They have 3 different variations of how to tell the wild hunt is after you. The way to tell for Scandinavia is you will hear the barking of 2 of Odin's dogs. One barking louder and the second right after it fainter. These barks are the only sounds that will identify that Odin is following. Yes, according to some reports, the forest turns silent and only whining sound and dogs barking can be heard. So that's a little creepy.
That is a little creepy, especially like if you live in a neighborhood that has no like stray dogs or anything. Yeah.
So that is the story of actually multiple things. It was supposed to just be Lusinata, but it slowly turned into the wild hunt.
Which is good to know because that's been a term that I've been hearing a lot this season for whatever reason. So, yeah.
Yeah, and as we see, my blood candle is reaching its end. And with it, let's give a goodbye to 2023 and welcome in 2024 with a simple and Happy New Year! That was
Happy
the
New
quickest
Year.
run back to Happy New Year you've ever seen.
And like, let there be light.
Now everything is nice and bright, much more cheery. And now you get to see the fun activity that Issi and I have planned to do for this Darkest Light. As you know, for Halloween we did painting of pumpkins, which Izzy's is still in her background right there.
Yes.
Now we're going to be painting various things that are holiday themed. I got a gnome.
I have an ornament.
So we're gonna see at the end how our gnome and ornament come out. And you let us know which one you think looks much more festive than the other.
Yes.
And now, while we begin our lovely painting project, Izzy will tell us a story to bring in the new year.
So, to bring in the new year, I am going to talk about an Italian folk legend. The legend of La Befana. The traditional holiday season in Italy lasts through Epiphany, which is January 6th, better known as King's Day for Kalee and I due to our former Catholic upbringing, and being from New Orleans. On January 5th, Epiphany Eve, Italian children will prepare a visit from La Befana, a kind witch that will fill their shoes and socks with all sorts of goodies, making herself and the feast of the Epiphany to be just as important as Christmas Day and Santa Claus, despite her actually existing before the jolly man we know now came to be. Her origin can be traced back to the 13th century, so she's been giving the children of Italy gifts and candy for quite a while before Santa Claus. How the story of La Befana started actually was on the birth of Jesus, with the 3 magi traveling to find him. According to the Italian legend, La Befana, a witch-like woman riding a broom, refused to join the wise men when they came upon her on their journey to see the baby Jesus. she refused due to having too much housework to do back in her own cottage. When she regrets her decision, she sets out to bring gifts to the child, but never manages to find him nor the three magi. Instead, she leaves gifts for other children. Italian children leave out their shoes or put up stockings for the witch to fill on January 5th, Epiphany Eve. Every year since, she will take flight on her broom in search of baby Jesus in every house in Italy, leaving gifts for the children there. For the children who are good, she will bring them candies and fruits, while those who are bad will receive coal, garlic, or onions in their shoes. Quite similar to the cookies and milk tradition for Santa, families would leave out food and wine for her. In other parts of Italy, it would sometimes be sausage and broccoli. La Befana is usually described to look like an older woman or an old witch that stands with a hunch, wearing a jacket with colorful patches or a red shawl over a patchwork dress. That is always seen with a broom in hand, and at the very tip of her nose is reddened from the cold winds. There's even a little nursery rhyme for La Befana that children will sing, written in 1549 by Agnolo Farinzola, which was the first time she appeared historically in a rhyme or poem. It's in Italian, but I found the translation, so it's a rather rough translation because I'm not going to butcher Italian. That is one language that I did not learn. The Befana comes at night, wearing old broken shoes, dressed in Roman style. Long live La Befana. And that is it, because that was a very short story on La Befana.
Wow, that was quick. I finished a hat while you were talking. That's all I got through, was his hat. Yeah, that was shorter than I expected. Wow, okay.
And also during my research, I found out that there are still towns in Italy that will still have like festivals for La Befana.
Oh, that's cool.
Like Milan, Venice, especially in Venice because I want to say, okay, maybe it was Venice or a different town, but there's a festival where like old men will dress as La Befana, put like soot on their faces, and just run around with brooms.
That sounds fun, dude. I would actually have fun watching that.
Oh yeah. And it's actually funny how she has a tie to Christianity, even though she's like more for Italian folklore.
Yeah, she's like an Italian folklore, but she does a lot for Christianity. And it sounds like she has no pagan tie. Like, Lucy's tied to Christianity, but she has a pagan origin.
Right. Whereas La Befana is Christianity through and through. So that's
like really cool, though. Like, did you find any information if Italian Americans also worship, do shit with her, or is it only people in Italy?
Only in Italy, because she's purely an Italian thing.
But it didn't make its way with the Italian Americans when they immigrated?
Yes, because an old friend of mine used to have like a little kitchen witch hanging in her kitchen, and honestly, when I was looking up the pictures of La Befana, it was essentially her. And around holiday time is when you'll see in Italian markets a lot of like little witches being, like little witch ornaments being sold.
Okay, so it did make its way into the States as well.
Yeah, but like only they sell her off as like a kitchen witch instead of La Befana.
Okay.
So I guess so that way they don't have to explain to Americans about, oh yeah, we did not have Santa Claus, we had a Christmas witch.
Yeah, the Christmas witch, which I think is kind of cute.
I do too.
I also like how so many different cultures have a similar idea on the Santa Claus. And it's either from their pagan origins, or it's from, like, this weird Christian origin. So La Befana was believed to have been an actual witch during the time when Jesus was born. Does the myth say that she was a pagan or a Jew?
Honestly, when they say witch, they were just basically going by how her looks were, because she would basically look like an old crone.
Okay.
And the fact with the broom is because she was a housewife, so she was always seen with a broom in her hand. So it's kind of like she wasn't necessarily a witch. Oh no, did I get paint on me? Oh no, my dress just tore.
Mid-sentence. Oh no.
But no, so she really didn't have any pagan ties. She was known as a housewife, and since she was an old crone in a house by herself, automatically she is labeled as a witch.
The witch! She's a witch! Turn me into a frog. You don't look like a frog.
She turned me into a frog! You're a human now. But still, she turned me into a frog!
I really hope people know what we're quoting. If you don't know, please go watch Monty Python.
Please do. I feel like we've quoted it enough that people should know to look up Monty Python.
Yeah, I think they know we're fans of Monty Python by this point.
Yeah.
So, looking into the two stories we chose, we both ended up picking female-led stories for this season. Yeah. And we both took stories that had some variation of Italian influence.
Yep.
Again, we say this every time. We don't plan these things. It is kind of just, it happens.
Yes, we pick them separately, yet this still happens.
This is how he's coming out so far. He's looking okay.
Nice.
Anyway, so back to La Befana.
Yes.
So kids in the States, they write letters to Santa. Do kids in Italy write letters to La Befana?
Yes.
So it's kind of like the exact same as Santa, just it's a female witch instead of an old man.
Yes, because La Befana, she's basically been talked about in Sicily since the 13th century, while Santa Claus supposedly did not come to Italy until like close to World War II, apparently.
Okay, so it took a while for his tradition to reach them.
Yeah. Yeah, so up until Santa, it's been La Befana for Christmas.
Okay.
And technically Christmas was Epiphany Eve on January 5th, and they would receive gifts on the Epiphany.
Oh, they didn't receive it at the beginning of the 12 days of Christmas, they received it at the end?
Yeah.
Okay. So when did we start getting receive presents at the beginning of Christmas and not at the end?
With Santa Claus. That started when Santa came to Italy.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember what they will call him because I found it. I'm gonna butcher this. I am sorry to our Italian listeners or our Italian American. Babbo Natale. That's basically the Italian name for Santa Claus.
Okay.
And I think I remember hearing that from the Santa Claus movie when they captured Tim Allen's character and like, what's your name? And he's saying all the different names for Santa Claus in the different languages.
Are there any special like Italian traditions that go with La Befana? That like we don't really do in the States for Santa?
I think it's mainly, in my opinion, when the children are bad, they get garlic and onions.
You see, the problem is, though, I think if I had been raised with, if you're bad, garlic and onions will end up in your shoe, I would have been worse, because I love garlic.
And another thing I read is, like, the families, when their children were bad and would get the garlic and onions, they would cook with them. You're like, oh, this is good seasoning for dinner. Thanks, Timmy.
Yeah, I think my family would be like, be bad. Be bad. What? We want garlic and we can't afford it right now. We need you to be a dick.
And I also love the fact, like, instead of, like, milk and cookies, they would leave out, like, wine for her. I'm like, oh, that's nice. Oh, and another little thing, in Italy now, to symbolize the coal that La Befana would give children sometimes, they have, like, this black rock candy that they give out.
Oh, kind of like how around Christmas you could get, like, the coal candy.
Yes.
Here.
Yep. Yeah, so that's one thing they definitely do in Italy that transferred over here.
Have you ever tried the coal candy?
No, I haven't.
It's good.
Like I should probably
it's
try
chocolate. It's like very similar to a Rice Krispies. Not
Ooh,
Rice Krispies,
okay.
One of those Crunch bars.
Ooh, okay. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to get some next time I go to a store.
Let's now say our personal winter holiday traditions, if we have any. When I do get to see my family to do Yule, we celebrate Yule instead of Christmas. Each person gets a special dish made for them, something that they really like. So it's all put out, a dish to represent each person. And then we take a portion of each of the dishes, we put on a plate, and we put it outside as thanks to the earth for giving us the ability to have these foods, from it growing or from feeding the animals, whatever it is. So we are giving back to the earth.
Christmas tradition that me and my parents would do. Me and my dad, we don't do it anymore, but I feel like we should bring it back. On Christmas Eve, he would take, which was the Cajun night before Christmas.
Yeah.
And he would read that with the Cajun accent and everything. And when I was really little, I don't know if you remember, like, these little bags of, like, cherry candies.
Maybe.
Yeah. Somehow my mom had me convinced that that was, like, reindeer food. Where, while I know that there was actually something that was listed reindeer food and you throw it out in your yard.
Yeah.
But she would like me to take the candies and throw them out instead, saying that the reindeers like those instead. And when I was little, I would do that every year.
That's cute.
Yeah.
I remember my elementary school would actually hand out the reindeer food so that we could bring it home and we could throw it out to feed the reindeer. And so, like, I remember what it was. It was, like, similar to trail mix, but much more close to bird food.
Yes.
So we were technically feeding the birds.
Yeah, I remember. It either looked like dirt or bird seed.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
bird
that
food.
was it.
Yeah, we might be giving them a hard choice on which one's better, not because we did excellent, amazing paintings, because both of us went brain dead and went, I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm just like, if you're expecting the stripes on this to be symmetrical, they are not.
How'd you do that bad?
How'd
you mess up that bad?
I don't know.
In case you're wondering, Christmas is the way that Issi and I met.
Yeah, because it was Christmas decorating day for the church.
Yeah.
And I think I found the radio.
And because we were the two youngest there, they were using us to go climbing up on top of the rafters.
Yeah, going up in the attic and then climbing up all over the marble altar to set up the trees.
Yeah, so that's actually how we met, was they were like, y'all are spry young ones.
Yeah, and my mom, like, from the pews, putting the wreath up, putting the garland on them, looking and being like, oh my god, okay, I'll be careful.
And like, why did we send probably the two clumsiest members of this church?
Yes, and I think that's why she was so deathly afraid.
She's like, I know that kid. That one's mine. She's not very, spry on her feet. Can we not have sent those to do this?
Yeah, and I took ballet for a majority of my life. That did not help the clumsiness at all.
Yes.
I do remember one specific memory from one of the years we were decorating for Christmas.
Oh, yeah?
I found the radio this one time when we were decorating the Christmas tree in the foyer.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I put it on 101.9, and as soon as I turned it on, they were playing Welcome to the Black Parade by My Chemical Romance. And me and you were the only two singing along.
And that is how the friendships formed. We realized we were the only two dweeby emos.
Yeah, because the other girl that was with us decorating the tree looked at us like we were insane.
Yeah, she had never heard it.
Yeah. And
So yeah, Christmas season holds a little special place with us because it is what started our friendship 15 years ago.
15 years ago. Also, does anyone have any special Christmas specials or shows or movies that have a special place in their hearts? Put them down in the comments. We would like to know.
Yeah.
So Kaylee, what is yours?
Mine is, I like to watch the Holiday Baking Championship, which is an American show. I also like to watch the Great British Baking Show. So essentially my holiday tradition is watching baking.
I know, I've been kind of watching them too. I can't find anything else to watch, so I just put that on and I'm like, ooh. I've been watching the Elf on the Shelf one recently. That one's actually really good.
You think about Elf on the Shelf is kind of creepy.
I know, it is. It really is. And there's another Christmas special short that has a special place in my heart. Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
I remember that you always had a special place in your heart for Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
Yes, and it's hilarious because my dad will just say that is the most depressing song ever. And I'm like, it's funny! And then with cartoon, it's even funnier. And of course, Merry Christmas, Charlie Brown. That's another one because I love the Charlie Brown tree.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there was a Christmas movie that really stuck with me as a kid. Because if anyone knows me, I don't have normal movies I associate with holidays. Yeah.
But I love that about you, so.
Yeah, for my dad, a lot of people on Easter would get candy, but he instead would buy me a new horror movie. A new horror movie DVD of a unknown horror film or one of those B-rated horror films. So I associate Easter with horror movies.
Oh yeah.
I think really the main one that I would watch around the holiday season was apparently my dad told me this one about my childhood. I forgot it. But my favorite Christmas movie as a kid, and I would not only watch it every Christmas, I would then watch it about 20 times in December and sometimes even in other months of the year. But this was my Christmas movie growing up was the winter special for Beauty and the Beast. The one with Tim Curry.
Yes, yeah, I'm wearing the pin right now from...
I see it, yeah. I love that one.
I absolutely love that one. That is my ultimate favorite. That's probably another reason why I cried when I met the woman that did the voice for Belle. Because just that Christmas music.
Yeah, I think as a kid, that was definitely my favorite Christmas special, and it kind of just remained one of my favorite Christmas specials.
Oh, yeah.
Another one of my favorite Christmas things, or at least holiday things, was where we grew up, there was something called Celebration in the Oaks.
Yes.
And they would have a section where it was all lights, and it would actually have the story of Papa Noel told through a light show. And you could walk through and hear the story of Papa Noel through these lights. And it was really cool. That was something I always loved, was the Papa Noel light show.
If you don't remember from last year with Kalee reading the book of The Legend of Papa Noel. Instead of reindeer, he had alligator pulling.
And instead of a sled, he was in a pirogue, which is a type of like boat.
Yep.
And he'd visit all the little good Cajun boys and girls. So Izzy.
Yes.
What are the big things that we have coming in 2024 for the podcast?
Okay, in 2024, we are going to be at Haunted America.
Yes.
And that's going to be in June of 2024.
Yep, we'll be vendors there. Before that, we will be at Dead of Winter, which is in Alton, Illinois, at the Old Mineral Springs Hotel, which is February 10th, 2024. Izzy won't be with me. It'll be me and my sister Lizzie. Yes, it'll be confusing. And before that, starting in January, in our Patreon page, you can now start getting the exclusive Patreon videos, starting with one on Illinois true crime and an unseen special that we made back in October on Missouri legends.
Oh yeah.
They start going out in January. So those are our three big things. Patreon videos starting to go out. We are vendors at Dead of Winter, where you can meet me and my sister. And we will be at Haunted America in June, which is in Godfrey, Illinois, at the Lewis and Clark College. Go watch that episode. And Izzy will be with me, so you could meet both of us.
Yes, I will actually be there.
We also may be working on special secret projects that involve filming on location.
Yes. Are we keeping the first one a secret, or can we say it?
We'll give a hint.
Okay.
I'll give the hint because you know nothing of the location.
I was about to say you're gonna have to say it. I don't know.
Your hint is one word. Lager. Or lager. However you pronounce it. That's your hint. Leave down in the comments what you think this hint would mean about a location that we're filming at in this summer. We're also working on another location, an actual haunted road trip to go on in the fall.
Oh yes, that one's gonna be so much fun.
That one's gonna be fun, and that one I'll give one hint as well. Part of that road trip we've already had an episode about.
Yep.
That's your hints! Try to figure out what the two road trips are. And if you join the Patreon page, you will actually be getting the updates on how the planning for that trip is going, how buying the equipment to go on the investigation. Because it's not only going to be a normal episode where we tell the history and we talk about it, it's also going to be, since we're at location, a paranormal investigation on it.
Oh yeah, I'm afraid, guys.
I know all the history. Izzy's going in blind.
Yes, and I already know some methods that Kalee is gonna want to do. I'm down for it, but I'm like, okay, this is gonna be interesting.
Join the Patreon if you have the funds to join it. It's only $3 a month. And you can get updates on how the planning for the road trip and the on-location filming are going. As well as just hear a little bit more from Izzy and I. Izzy, none of those lines are at all symmetrical. They are touching each other everywhere.
Like, look, it's just blue and gold. It's fine.
The bottom is like circles, but they're all touching.
It's fine.
You can make it an evil eye.
That's basically how this kind of looks right now. So
It looks
this is
like
my
the
evil eye ornament.
You made an evil eye ornament. So yes, let us know in the comments below if you have any Christmas or even New Year's traditions, because this we're releasing on New Year's Eve. Do you have any New Year's traditions?
Just enjoying a nice drink at the stroke of midnight. That's basically it.
Yeah, mine's fireworks. I like fireworks.
Okay, yeah, I would like, my mom would love to get us like those little poppers that you throw on the ground and they pop.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I think you joined us sometimes. We would go to one of my aunt's houses and my dad liked Roman candles. And this was a competition between a bunch of my cousins. We would all have Roman candles and you would try to shoot out one of the lamps, because it would turn itself back on right afterwards, but your goal was to shoot and knock out the lamp for a few seconds. We stopped doing it because one year it went backwards instead of forwards, like it blew out from the bottom and it caught my sister's hair on fire.
Oh god, I remember when that happened.
Yeah, and everyone's like, Mickey, your hair's on fire, and she's like, oh haha, because it's red and pink, and we're like, no! It's literally on fire!
Oh my god!
So yeah, after that we no longer did the Roman candle tradition.
Oh my god.
Be safe this holiday season.
Yes.
Maybe not catch your siblings' hair on fire. When you're trying to probably do something that is not correct by blowing out the lampposts on the street.
Like, please be safe this holiday season. Do not make any unnecessary visits to the burn ward or your local ER.
Yes. And now, as we mentioned before in this show, Izzy works in the healthcare system. Izzy, have you any funny stories about ER visits for New Year's?
Oh, no, well, there was this one man who came in, he blew off his thumb.
Was it because he was trying to hold one of them that you're meant to not hold?
Yes.
So he looked like this now?
Yeah.
There we go. This is what that dude looked like. Don't come out of New Year's looking like this, guys. Let's keep our fingers. Or this. Or this. Like, let's keep all the fingers. How is your ornament?
Good, I'm done.
I am
figured,
done
let
too.
me not add anything else to it, otherwise it's just gonna look a hot
You looked
mess.
at it and you're like, you know what, this is enough. I don't need to keep going. So this is
I'm
my
like,
little
I'm done.
dude.
Ah, that's so cute.
Little
Aw.
attempt at texture in his beard and hat. With green suit.
Aw,
He's cute.
So cute.
We'll go right.
What you gonna name him?
No, Mio. Totally didn't steal that from the movie.
Yes.
Anyway, now that we are done, we hope you enjoyed your two stories, the dark and the light, to end our year on, and we are looking forward to a really fun 2024 with a lot of brand new things and some exciting films that we are excited to make for you guys. Let us know, whose story did you like better? Did you like learning of La Sinata, the long night with the wild hunt? Or did you prefer to learn about La Befana, the Italian Santa Claus lady? Essentially.
Christmas witch. The Italian Christmas witch.
The Italian Christmas witch, or the Scandinavian demon witch. Which witch did you prefer?
Once again, we had a theme and we didn't realize it.
It was the accidental theme of Italian witch. Sorry, Sicilian witch on my part. Don't come at me.
I was about to say, they're gonna tell you Sicilian and Italian and Sicilian are quite different.
Yes, I know. Please don't come at me. And also let us know whose Christmas painting you prefer. Do you like Izzy's ornaments / evil eye? Or do you like Nomeo, the kind of crooked gnome in my background? I'm wishing you all a happy holiday and a safe 2024. So glad 2023 is done. And Izzy, outro time.
Thank you for listening to Macabre Matters. This episode was written and hosted by me, Izzy, and my co-host, Kalee. My research was sourced from La Befana, The Italian Link, Italia Living, Summer in Italy, Italian Tribune, Italy Heritage.
And mine was sourced from Reverse Ritual, Pathos, Ingvild Herring, University of Toronto Food Services, Scandinavian Archaeology, Witchlike, and Norwegian American.
Bibliography can be found on our website. Special thanks to my co-host, Kalee, for joining me in tonight's episode. If you have enjoyed listening to us, please give the show a review, share with your friends, or think about donating to our listener donation on Spotify. Any and all donations are appreciated and go to helping us better our production. You can also join us on our new Patreon. Members of our Patreon get shoutouts and videos, can request topics, and receive behind the scenes of the podcast. Link to our Patreon is in the description. If you have any questions or comments, email us at macabremattersofficial@gmail.com. Also, if you want to get to know us better, please follow us on Instagram at Macabre Matters Official, Threads at Macabre Matters Official, YouTube at Macabre Matters Podcast, like us on Facebook at Macabre Matters, or visit our website at macabrematterspodcast.com. You can also join our Discord server where you can talk and hang out with us. All links are in the description. Music you are listening to is original music by Kevin Bond. Thank you, and have a delightfully grim evening.
Night, and happy holidays. Please take your tail away from the fire. My cat is trying to murder himself, so I'm just holding his tail. Nope. You're going down. You try to rub your face on a fire. Nope. No, Jordy, get off my lap. No. There is fire. Get on the ground. I love you. Stay. I can see you. Wait, this itchy as fuck. Sorry. I need to scratch my head.
I you had a moment like me.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's such an itchy thing on my head. I don't know how these kids wear these things. Oh.
Try cushion next time.
It's so itchy. Okay, I'm good now.